Have you ever woken up, looked in the mirror, and thought, when did that happen? Not the gray hair, not the wrinkles. Something deeper, something quieter, something you can't quite explain, but you feel it in your bones. What if I told you that after 60, your body starts whispering before it starts screaming? And most people ignore the whispers until it's too late? Stay with me, because what I'm about to share could genuinely change how you see your body starting today. And I don't say that lightly. You know, a few years ago, I met a man named Robert at a small diner just outside of Phoenix. He was 67, strong handshake, proud smile, the kind of guy who'd say, "I feel fine," even if a truck ran over his foot. He told me he didn't believe in overthinking aging, said he was still the same man he was at 45. But here's the thing, he wasn't, and neither are we. Aging doesn't knock on the door. It slips in through the back window while you're busy living life. Robert ignored a few small changes. Nothing dramatic, just tiny shifts. A little more fatigue, a little less balance, a little more forgetfulness. Harmless, right? That's what he thought. 6 months later, one fall changed everything. So let me ask you something real. When was the last time you paid attention to the quiet signals your body is sending you? Not the big emergency sirens, the whispers. The first silent change is muscle loss. And no, I'm not talking about becoming a bodybuilder. I'm talking about sarcopenia, that slow, sneaky decline in muscle mass that begins as early as your 30s, but accelerates after 60. You might notice you struggle more carrying groceries. Opening jars becomes oddly difficult. Getting up from a low chair takes effort. You brush it off. I'm just getting older. But here's the shocker. Muscle isn't just about strength. It protects you from falls. It stabilizes your blood sugar. It keeps your metabolism alive. When muscle fades, independence fades with it. That's the part nobody tells you. And it doesn't happen overnight. It happens quietly, abrupt, subtle, almost invisible. And here's where it gets personal. My Aunt Linda, 72, stubborn as ever, refused to do any resistance training because she said it was for young people. She walked every day, sure, but she never challenged her muscles. Then one winter morning, she slipped in her kitchen. Not a dramatic fall, just a small misstep. But her body couldn't catch itself. A fractured hip later, she told me something I'll never forget. I didn't realize I was weaker than I felt. That sentence hit me hard, because feeling okay and being strong are two different things. Now the second silent change, balance deterioration. This one is scary because it hides behind confidence. You think you're steady. You've been walking your whole life. Why would that change? But after 60, the inner ear, the vision system, and nerve responses all start slowing down. Just slightly, microseconds, but those microseconds matter. Ever notice you feel a little dizzy when you stand up too fast? Or you sway slightly in the shower when you close your eyes? That's not random. That's your balance system aging. And falls are not just accidents. They are often predictable outcomes of ignored warning signs. Let me pause here. If you're still watching, still listening, it means you care. And that matters. Drop a comment right now and tell me your age. I read them. I really do. Let's build a community that talks about this openly, because pretending aging isn't happening doesn't stop it. Now the third silent change, bone density decline. Osteoporosis doesn't hurt. That's the cruel part. You don't feel your bones thinning. There's no alarm, no flashing light. But inside, your skeletal framework is slowly becoming more fragile, especially for women after menopause. But men are not immune. Think about that. The very structure holding you up could be weakening without your knowledge. And the first sign? Often a fracture. That's it. Surprise. Shock. Too late. And before you think this is all doom and gloom, hold on. Because knowledge is power. Awareness changes outcomes. But first, you need to see the danger clearly. The fourth silent change is metabolic slowdown. You might notice weight creeping up even though you eat the same foods. You feel colder than you used to. Energy dips in the afternoon become intense. This isn't laziness. It's biology. Hormones shift. Insulin sensitivity declines. Muscle mass drops, which reduces calorie burn. Suddenly, the body that once processed everything smoothly is struggling quietly behind the scenes. And here's the kicker. This metabolic shift increases the risk of type 2 diabetes and heart disease. Big trouble. Not because you did something wrong, but because aging demands adjustment. I remember a woman named Gloria, 64, who told me, "I barely eat, but I keep gaining weight." She blamed herself. She felt ashamed. But her doctor explained what was really happening. Her metabolism had changed, but her habits hadn't. Once she added strength training and adjusted protein intake, the fog lifted. The weight stabilized. The shame disappeared. Sometimes we blame ourselves for biological transitions. We were never taught about DOT, and now the fifth silent change, cognitive shifts. No, not dementia. Not necessarily. I'm talking about subtle processing speed decline. You walk into a room and forget why. You search for a word mid-sentence. You misplace your keys more often. Small things, easy to laugh off. But here's the truth. The brain also needs exercise. It needs challenge. It needs stimulation and social connection. Isolation accelerates decline. Stress damages memory pathways. Sleep disruption worsens it. These aren't traumatic symptoms. They're whispers. Again with the whispers. There was a retired teacher I once interviewed, 70 years old, sharp, witty. But after her husband passed, she withdrew socially. Within a year, her memory complaints increased. Once she joined a community book club and started volunteering, something changed. Her energy improved. Her mind sharpened. We underestimate how much connection protects cognition. We think aging is purely physical. It's not. It's emotional. It's social. It's mental. Now, let's be honest for a second. Talking about these changes can feel uncomfortable, maybe even scary. But ignoring them? That's scarier. The goal isn't fear. The goal is preparation. If you know muscle loss is coming, you lift weights. If you know balance declines, you practice stability exercises. If you know bones thin, you prioritize calcium, vitamin D, and resistance training. If metabolism shifts, you adjust diet and movement. If cognition slows, you challenge your brain and nurture relationships. Aging is not the enemy. Unawareness is. Let me ask you something personal. What's one small change you've noticed in your body recently that you brushed aside? Be honest. Share it in the comments. Someone else might be feeling the same thing. And when you share this video, you might literally prevent someone's fall, fracture, or diagnosis. That's not exaggeration. That's reality. Now here's the part nobody talks about: pride. After 60, pride can become dangerous. I don't need help. I'm fine. I've always done it this way. But strength isn't pretending nothing changes. Strength is adapting, adjusting, learning again. And maybe you're thinking, okay, this is heavy. Yeah, it is. Because life after 60 is precious. It's grandchildren. It's sunsets. It's stories. It's second chances. Why risk losing years of independence because of silent changes you could prepare for? Take a breath with me. Seriously. Inhale. Exhale. You're still here. That's a gift. Now let's shift from awareness to action. Because I promised you this wouldn't just be warnings, it would be empowerment. And here's where things get hopeful. Because the human body, even after 60, is remarkably adaptable. You are not fragile glass. You are adaptable biology. Muscle loss? Reversible to a degree. Studies show adults in their 70s and even 80s can build strength through progressive resistance training. 2 to 3 days a week. Simple movements. Chair squats. Wall push-ups. Light dumbbells. It doesn't require a gym membership with neon lights and loud music. It requires consistency. That's it. Short sessions. Abrupt effort. Done. Balance decline? Trainable. Stand on one foot while brushing your teeth. Practice heel to toe walking down a hallway. Gentle yoga or Tai Chi improves proprioception dramatically. These aren't extreme measures. They're small habits with huge payoff. Bone density. Strength training stimulates bone growth. Weight-bearing activities like walking, stair climbing, light jogging if appropriate. These send signals to your skeleton that say, stay strong. Add proper nutrition, especially protein, calcium, and vitamin D. And you shift the trajectory. Metabolism? Prioritize protein at every meal. Lift weights. Walk daily. Sleep 7 to 8 hours. Reduce ultra-processed foods. It sounds simple because it is simple. Not easy, but simple. Cognitive shifts. Read challenging books. Learn a new skill. Practice memory games. Stay socially connected. Laugh. Yes, laugh. Humor reduces stress hormones that damage the brain over time. And don't underestimate purpose. Purpose is fuel. Let me tell you a quick story. A 78-year-old man named Harold started learning piano for the first time. At 78, his fingers were stiff. His timing was off. He laughed at himself constantly. But within months, his coordination improved. His mood lifted. He told me, "I feel alive again." That sentence alone proves aging doesn't mean decline. It means adaptation. Now, here's the emotional truth. We can't stop time. We can't freeze ourselves at 45. But we can influence how 65, 75, even 85 feels. And the difference between fragile and vibrant often comes down to daily habits. Small ones. Repeated. If this message resonates with you, share it. Send it to a parent, a friend, a spouse who says, "I'm fine." Because sometimes love looks like uncomfortable conversations. And before we close, let me give you one strong suggestion. Don't wait for pain to become your motivator. Pain is a late signal. Start now, today. Choose one action. Just one. Maybe it's 5 chair squats. Maybe it's calling an old friend. Maybe it's adding protein to breakfast. Start small. Momentum builds quietly, just like decline does. But this time, it builds in your favor. Aging is not a slow surrender. It can be a strategic upgrade, but only if you listen to the whispers before they become screams. So tell me, which of these 5 silent changes surprised you the most? Comment below. Let's talk about it. And if you found value here, share this with someone over 60 who deserves more strong, independent years. Because the goal isn't just living longer. It's living stronger. You're not done. Not even close.